So this is going to be a tribute video about Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, Terry Bollea, the human being. Now I know a lot of y'all, mainly, black folks still got their gripe with Hulk Hogan and him using the N-word being uttered from his mouth over a decade ago. And listen, I don't hold nothing against that man for that. Me personally, I've gotten over that, and I don't hold no grudge whatsoever. At the end of the day, man, it's like a lot of y'all that are mad at Hulk Hogan and are hating and still despising this man and celebrating his death. To me, that's very low. And a lot of y'all got skeletons in the closet, as I do as well. A lot of us have made a lot of mistakes that we wish that we would have never made. And we have said some things that we wish we would have never uttered out of our mouth. Hulk Hogan, I'm assuming, felt the same way a decade ago. The thing is, right, a lot of y'all need to understand and really let this sink in. Hulk Hogan was the first true professional wrestling icon that took the industry mainstream. Let that sink in, right? His contributions are greatly appreciated. I appreciate everything this man has done for the sport, for wrestling. It went from the territories to being global, to being well known. Listen, man, without Hulk Hogan and even, Vince McMahon, because we can't leave Vince out of this as well. He deserves some credit. But without those two, primarily Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania would have never existed. You take Hulk Hogan out of the history books of professional wrestling, there is no WrestleMania. WrestleMania doesn't exist. There's no NWO. There's no standard of how to book a top babyface in a wrestling promotion. You don't have that blueprint. Hulk Hogan created that blueprint for top babyfaces on how they're supposed to be presented and booked in wrestling companies. That blueprint, it worked for Stone Cold Steve Austin. It worked for The Rock. It followed with John Cena, Roman Reigns, now Cody Rhodes. And it's like, for anyone still bashing this man and talking ish after everything he's done for the wrestling business, everything, all the polarizing stuff, all the political affiliations aside, y'all are free to feel however you want when it comes to all that stuff. But you can't deny his contributions. You cannot. And y'all are still holding this man to the fire for now a decade. It's crazy to me, like, it's shocking to me he's still gone. Right? I still can't believe it. But this is like probably the first professional wrestling death that has happened to where you got a majority of the wrestling community, the wrestling space, IWC, celebrating his death. And the thing that really pisses me off, right, is you got people like Chelsea Green, not pissed off at her in particular, but pissed off at the backlash that she's getting now because of the words, of the kind words she spoke of Hulk Hogan, right? She said some nice things about Hogan. She feels differently about his political views. And she recognized, he's a polarizing figure, despite his legacy, despite what he has done. But she still showed respect. She still gave him his flowers. as well as Natalia did. I thought Natalia did Hulk Hogan justice when it came to what she had to say about him. And when Chelsea Green is on air, is on live on a network, pretty much giving her tribute to Hulk Hogan, she's met with death threats. Death threats. So anybody that talks kindly, positive of Hulk Hogan, y'all want to give them death threats now? Is that where we're at with this? See, I already knew within hours of this man dying that there was going to be a lot of vitriol toward Hulk Hogan. I already saw it coming. I already saw it coming a mile away. I'm like, how much you want to bet? I said this to myself. How much you want to bet? There's going to be a lot of wrestling fans that are still upset and still going to hold a grudge against Hogan even after death. And I saw it coming. And I'm not surprised, at the very least. I would like to think, and I would hope that, Hulk Hogan's journey in Christ is genuine. And I saw that video of his testimony that he did of, his journey with Christ and surrendering his life to the Most High, to God, to Jesus Christ. And I thought it was genuine. I thought he was being authentic about his walk with Christ and about where he was at in his life. He mentioned that he had a lot of struggles, as we all do. He had hit a wall. His life was falling apart. I mean, it's no secret that his family was in shambles. His health was deteriorating. And it was like he needed to have that reset in his life later, And it sucks that, maybe he had a little bit more amends to make with people, right? And maybe he had some things he had to patch up. Maybe he didn't have a whole lot of time to get himself right, get himself in order with God. But what I saw in that video, in that testimony, was a man that was trying to do right. Let go of his ego. And in professional wrestling, it is pretty much mandatory that you have an ego as a wrestler. Letting go of that ego is very hard. For someone like Hulk Hogan to let go of his ego, right? That's a big deal in itself. That takes a lot of work. You're talking about somebody that has been in fame for years, decades, that has been in the public, a well-known celebrity, if you will, a well-known athlete. It was going to be difficult for him to give up his ego. And I would like to think that he was really trying behind closed doors to change for the better. That he was fixing himself and improving himself. We all need to improve ourselves at the end of the day. But Hulk Hogan made it possible for a lot of people to get in this business, to make a living, to be a professional wrestler. He was responsible for turning the WWF, now WWE, into a mainstream phenomenon, a global phenomenon. Without Hogan, I don't think that would ever exist. And it's like, at the end of the day, he's human. He definitely got his faults. He probably let the fame, the glory get to his head at times, got big-headed, thought he was everything. And For Hulk Hogan, I think he had every right to feel that way, considering how popular he was in his time and how big of a draw he was in the 90s when he turned heel, joined up in the NWO. Even when he came back for his second run in the WWF, him and The Rock had the best match ever, the best professional wrestling match ever. It wasn't about holds, it wasn't about maneuvers, it wasn't about kickouts. It was just about the energy in that arena, that stadium. It was about two icons clashing of their own respective generation. It was about the moment. But that crowd that night, they showed their hand when it came to who they wanted to cheer for, and that was Hogan. That was still their guy. They was like, F The Rock. We want to cheer for Hogan. And Hogan got the biggest reception, the biggest, man, like just the biggest reception I've ever seen. The biggest pop ever. And there's no topping that. There's no topping that standing ovation that he got that Raw after Mania. There's not going to be anybody ever again that's going to top that type of reception. Nobody. So I choose to look at the positives of this man's career, his life and career. You know, months ago, I had made a community post about his family situation. And, you know, I had my critiques about that. And I think that was important for him to get that right in his life, to fix his family situation, right? His ex-wife was talking about him, kind of throwing him under the bus. But it was already well documented that Hulk Hogan and his family were not in the best graces. They were not in a good place. They had their issues. They had their problems. You know, he was one of the GOATs, in my opinion, probably the GOAT. Like weeks ago, before he had passed away, I had made up a Mount Rushmore top 5 professional wrestlers, right? And this list is based off who made an impact, not based off who's the best technical wrestler, who puts on the best matches. No, it was not based off that. It was based off who made a real impact in the industry. And my top 5 kind of looked like this. It was Hogan, number 1. I put him number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, John Cena, Roman Reigns. That is my top 5 of my Mount Rushmore, pretty much. That's my whole list of guys who have made an impact. Kind of left their mark. But I think nobody has left a bigger mark in this business than Hulk Hogan has. And I stand on that. You know, I don't care who gets mad at that. Like, that's, at the end of the day, that's my view. You can disagree all you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is purely subjective. You know what I'm saying? You can have an opposing view all you want. I'm perfectly fine with that. So yesterday I had watched a video of Hogan's testimony of him finding faith, and a portion of the video where he was talking about, I'm going to become the greatest professional wrestler that has ever lived. Y'all need proof? I got you.
I'm quitting. I'm going to be the greatest professional. I don't know why I said it, but I said it. I said, I'm going to be the greatest professional wrestler that ever lived. And all the guys in the band fell down on the ground laughing. You know, and that really made me mad. Now, you were at the time, look, 6'7", close to 300 pounds. Well, no, I was tall. You had the size. I was 6'7", you know, before all the back surgery and all the stuff. And I was in.
So there you have it. You know, that definitely aged well. And, you know, you can say whatever you want about Hogan's moveset. You know, less desirable, less impressive. But at the end of the day, The dude's made a huge impact. And there's going to be a lot of negatives attached to his legacy because of the stuff he said. And look, there's people that he probably did hold down. I'm willing to believe that. But guess what? There are people that he did help put over, that he did the favors for, that he helped get a lot of people in the door and help them make their name. So there's definitely good that has came out of Hulk Hogan's run, and a lot of good things he's done personally. I mean, he's helped Sting make his name. He's done a lot for a lot of talent. He did the honors for Kurt Angle. Very generous in his second run. You know, when he came back, did the honors for The Rock, Brock Lesnar. He helped Edge get over, became tag team champions with him. You know, Hogan has done a lot of good things, and he's done some bad things too. So at the end of the day, man, you know, let the man rest in peace, or just let him rest. You know, stop the hate, stop the negativity, even though it's not going to stop. Because we know how y'all IWC, we know how y'all are. It's gonna take a minute for y'all to get over, you know, your hate of Hulk Hogan. But at the end of the day, his contributions can't be denied. So there you go. That's my tribute video for Hulk Hogan. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe for more content, share this video, comment down below your thoughts. I'm out, and peace.